Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mark from Solar Games, and today I just want to spend some time and talk about like a recent experience I've noticed online. So as you guys know, I sell Magic cards online through my little store. It's a side business, honestly, at this point. Maybe one day it'll be something bigger, but I mean, it's not something I'm using to like earn my income, right? And I'm gonna be honest, like there's a lot of hate in the Magic world. I think a lot of players, for some reason, are just like really. They're always like thinking it's super devious. Like, hey, someone's gonna out to get you. You know, these sellers are all evil. And I don't want to talk about things like pre-selling and those kind of things today. I think there's a lot of problems with it, but I think any seller who does it properly, it's fine. So, but I do want to talk about some behavior things that we all as a community can improve. I think, make the game better. It will make getting new players easier. And it's kind of two things. I think there are a lot of the fraud things online. We just have to talk about it. So let's talk about the first thing. So first topic is going to be how do we deal with feedback? How do we deal with feedback or issues with orders and cards? I want to make it super clear. Like, here's the thing. Anybody who's dealt with me, any of my buyers, you guys know. If there's any problems with the cards, you message me, I will take care of you. Like, there's no doubt about it, right? Like, I'm not out here to try to like trick you. I'm not out here to try to like make your life miserable or whatever. Like, why? I'm going to be the store that's online for a long time. I will always be selling new cards every single set. So if there's some problems, of course I want to take care of you. I want to make sure you're happy as a customer. That's just guaranteed. There's no, like, I'm not trying to trick you. So sometimes I see buyers who think that sellers have a malicious intent. I'm going to be honest with you. 99% of the sellers do not have any of these malicious intent you're talking about. Yes, there are some edge cases where sellers might like do some shady shit and then get offline, right? They're never going to come back. That's not a normal thing for sellers. So I want to be very clear, right? And then for all the sellers out there, even if you're selling like one or two cards, each set, or you just kind of like trying to get rid of some part of your collection, everyone talks about how shady all these people online are. And the reality is, look, man, I sell a lot of cards. I think I've had one, maybe two cases of people doing some shady stuff. Like, hey, I didn't get the card. And I'm pretty sure they got the card because I got confirmation, right? There are cases like that, but it's one or two out of, I think at this point, I've sold cards for over a year. I've dealt with, locally with people one-on-one. I've dealt with like online. The reality of like getting, somebody like that is like one out of, 2,000 sales. It's less than 1%, less than 0.1%. So like, it's not that often, guys. Like, don't assume all the sellers or all the buyers are bad. They're going to trick you. They're going to take your money. Like, that's not true. Most people are really good. Most people are totally fine, right? So here's what I would say. If there's a problem with the card doesn't arrive, card's damaged, card has some issues, quality, whatever, message the seller. Message them. Or if you're a seller, obviously, and customer's not happy, message them. Ask them what's going on, right? Don't assume they're going to be doing some shady stuff. Like, assume people are going to be good. Treat each other with respect. And then we build that as a community, right? So that other people will respect us and our game. I guarantee you, man, because I buy cards on TCG Player too. And I've had issues with shipments. And I message the seller, and they're very nice. And I've never had a case where the seller is very, unreasonable. You send some pictures to them. In general, they're very reasonable. Look, everyone makes mistakes, right? Give the sellers, give the buyers, give somebody a chance to make up for it, to make it right. That's all I ask. And I think this is a case here. Like, I've had cases where, I don't want to name names here, but like there are buyers who receive a card, let's say a condition issue, just leaves you a 1-star rating and that's it, right? Don't do that to people. Like, that's ridiculous. Because, look, here's the reality. Would I want you to be a happy buyer? Of course. So if you come back and say, hey, there's a condition issue, and I look at it, yep, there was a problem with the shipment or whatever, I give you a refund, give you extra cards, give you replacements, whatever. There are ways that we can work this out where everyone's happy. But the way that if you decide to say, hey, I'm going to give this guy a negative comment, feedback, whatever, and not even make a comment, not even send a message to try to work it out, I think that's being unreasonable. I think, honestly, that's you being unreasonable. And honestly, every seller, every buyer who does this to a seller, they deserve to be banned. I'm sorry. If you do this to a seller, you are not a good customer. You should be banned because the seller cannot deal with you. I mean, is it reasonable that you go to a restaurant? Let's say you go to a bar, you ask for a drink, they make the wrong drink, and then you throw the drink on the floor and walk out? Is that the way to treat you say, hey, I'm sorry, I ordered this drink, you gave me this drink, it's the wrong one. Guess what happens? They're gonna give you a drink, and they're probably gonna give it to you for free. Some part of this doesn't make any sense where people treat each other this way, right? Like, the sellers are not out to get you, really, right? The second thing we should talk about is basically this concept of, if you make an offer on an item, really try to read all the fine prints, understand what you're trying to buy. There are cases where you make a mistake as this buyer, so go ahead and message the seller as soon as possible and work it out, right? But if you spend a lot of time working with the seller, hey, I would like to have this item. Can you bundle like this way? Can you send me more pictures? Can we work on a better deal, better price if I buy these 5 cars, whatever? Here's my thing: if you're gonna spend all this time working with a seller, buy their cards, man. Don't be the guy who spends all this time talking back and forth, getting extra pictures, right? Commit to buy a card, make an offer, and then don't pay. Like, don't do that, right? Understand, when you make an offer on, let's say, eBay or whatever, that's a commitment to buy. Now, totally understand, as a seller, I know there are cases where you hit the wrong button. You didn't mean to do that, right? You didn't mean to actually make an offer. Totally fine. We're gonna take care of you. It's not a problem. Message the seller, explain your situation, and it's fine. Most of the time, it doesn't matter. The problem is when you make that offer and then you ghost the seller, and the seller's trying to chase you down and say, hey, do I hold the item for you? Right? Do I sell it to someone else? I gave you a better deal, right? What am I supposed to do? And I think this is really, again, I know this is a little bit offensive against maybe the buyer side of things, but I just want to know, I'm not a big buyer on eBay for Magic cards, right? But I do want to say, I've seen a lot of this happen. And when I say a lot, again, just so we can caveat, right? I mean, less than 0.1% of people. A lot of my customers, very nice people, really, honestly, very, very, very cool. I love them. They message me, we have a great time, we talk about Magic, we talk about deck building, it's awesome. There are some buyers that are like this, right? In general, if they make an honest mistake, I'm not really out there to ban them or anything like that. Honestly, I think even if it's something that, hey, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, right? If you're sincere, I'm not going to get mad. It happens to me too, man. And I wish a seller would be understanding. But again, communication is first. I do want to end this video on a very positive note. So recently, as of yesterday, I bought a set of Magic cards from a gentleman on Mercari. And very pleasant conversation, honestly. The guy, so here's what happened, right? So I buy the cards. He didn't ship the cards for 3 days or 4 days, whatever. So I messaged him, hey, are you gonna ship the cards? What's going on? He's super sorry. Hey man, I'm so sorry. I've been really busy with my newborn, giving me a lot of reasons for what's happening, right? You can, of course, as a buyer, look at it 2 different ways. You can say, one, it's your responsibility as a seller to ship the cards. Absolutely. Is he in the wrong? Yes. Is he giving you excuses? Sure, maybe. But I'm not thinking those things. The only thing I'm thinking is, hey man, this guy's very responsive. It's not I message him and he doesn't respond back. Then I would be worried, did I just give money to somebody and he's not even gonna ship me the cards, right? But it's fine if you go through these third-party systems. They usually have ways to give you your money back. So I'm not too worried about those kind of things. But it's this is the type of things you should think about, right? When you deal with people online. So I messaged him. Gentleman's very nice. He's had a kid. I recently also had a kid. So we're exchanging back and forth. I'm, giving him advice on how to train your kid to sleep, etc. Right? And we're just making really good friends. And then what I realized from that conversation was, wow, I made a friend, in this Magic community of another person who may be wanting to play. This gentleman actually doesn't play Magic as much, but he is big onto opening packs and maybe selling the cards, whatever, right? It's really great that I met somebody in the community, was able to kind of hey, let's all be very reasonable people, and I'm sure it's going to be fine. This transaction, I'm not worried about it. It's a little bit delayed, but who cares? Honestly, I can get the cards a little earlier, a little later. It doesn't change my life, right? And that's the thing. That's the perspective you should really think about this game, this community. I think I wish our community was not as, again, outside external perception of us is not so negative. I think honestly that will probably bring more players to it. It doesn't seem like this is one of those communities where we will, punish you for not knowing the game or tapping your lands wrong. I mean, like this kind of stuff, we got to stop, guys. Like you can't. If we want new players to come, and we do, because the more players means more vibrant of a community, means your cards have more value long term because you can sell it to other new players building decks, more players to play with. I mean, I don't know what the negative of having more people play Magic would be, right? Having more people in the community is just going to be better. And so we should foster a place where these new players or potential new players would actually feel welcome to play. I think that's a big thing. And it starts with something simple and maybe have nothing to do with Magic, like buying and selling online too. So that's why it's important to treat everybody with respect and give them the benefit of the doubt and give them a chance to make things right. That's all I'm asking, right? So this is Mark from Solar Games. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank everyone so much for all my customers that have helped me, supported me throughout the last, year, half a year, whatever. Especially in the last set, Innistrad. Innistrad's been a very interesting set, honestly. During the pre-sale, obviously the prices are great, but right now they're dropping like crazy. So I think mostly I'm just gonna hold on to the cards and build some decks and stuff. So thanks. Anyways, have a great day, man. Just be real, be classy, be cool. All right, see ya.